back to Katrina's Creations. This is episode 80. If you notice, the door's open back here because it normally isn't, so it looks a little different. Dave's not home right now, so I'm filming upstairs. So I have the door open, so if somebody would come to the door downstairs or whatever, I can hear what's going on. And if the dog's getting into anything, because, yeah, she's on a doggy diet, and we took her to the vet. She was 3 pounds overweight, which doesn't sound like much, but when it's a Chihuahua, she's, as my daughter calls her, a Chihuahuadle right now. So the vet said she needs to lose weight. So she's trying to scavenge any place she can because she doesn't like her kibbles and bits that she's got. So she picks out all the good stuff that she likes, and then she throws the rest of it around the kitchen floor. So, yeah, if there's a trash can to be had, she's, like, checking it out right now. So I have the door open just to make sure that our fur baby isn't getting into stuff she shouldn't. So, let me fill you in on what's going on this week. It's been a busy week for videos. This is my 4th video in 1 week. You will be watching this on Saturday, May 12th, but I'm actually filming it on Thursday. Because of my work schedule. So some weeks I film on Thursday, some weeks I film on Friday. So yes, we had last Saturday's video, which I filmed last Friday, and then we had the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival video. So if you haven't watched that, check it out. And then my Knitcrate box came in, so that video went up on Thursday. So that's another one to check out. And then here we are again on our Saturday video, which I'm filming on Thursday. So now that I've totally confused everybody, including myself, because I forget what I've recorded when, and yeah. Anyway, it's tough trying to think things out sometimes. So I have a finished object. I finished my afghan, my ripple afghan that I was working on. I will post a picture because it's kind of big for me to stand up and show it to you. So I'm going to stick a picture right here. I've been trying to do like 1 round a week, which is a round for me was, there's 8 colors in this afghan, and each row is a different color. So it takes me 8 rows to go through all 8 colors. So I've been trying to do 1 a week. I was determined this week I wanted to try to finish it. So I actually did 2 rows. So I did 16 rows total this week. So you can see where my progress keeper was last week. And then I went up to here and finished it. Now I did cheat a little bit because see this color here, this maroon, which is where I left off. This yarn I had the least amount of, and when I got to the second repeat, I went all the way across with it because this is all double crochet, and I got 3/4 of the way and ran out of yarn and went, and I really wanted to try to get 1 more row of 8, you know, a series of 8 rows in there with all the colors. So what I did, I ripped that maroon row out of double crochet, and right here I did single crochet. But I think because it's next to a brown, it really isn't overly noticeable. And it allowed me to get, you know, like 6 inches more of the afghan in there. And then I put these little simple tassels onto the yarn, or onto the points. So there was 11 points. There's 6 on one side, 5 on the other. So I just took some of the leftover yarn, and I do have a good bit of most of the colors leftover yarn. So I just took 1 strand of each color except for the maroon because I had none of it left, and or had such a little amount I couldn't do tassels with it. So I made the tassels. So finished object, and the finished size, it is probably about 5 feet long. It's about 3 feet wide and about 5 feet long, because when I stand up from the floor, it comes up to about here when I hold it up. And you could see that in the picture. So, and I'm 5'3" or 5'4", so I'm guessing it's somewhere around 5 feet. So, yes, this is going in our bedroom, and it actually matches perfectly, because I've got a quilt on my bed that I made a few years back, and it's the same colors, like all fall colors. So got that finished. Now my 2 sweaters are my works in progress. So here is my first one, and this is in a bag by Stitch and You bags. They have an Etsy shop, and I won this in a giveaway. I've never bought a project bag. I've got 3 different project bags, and they were all ones that I won in giveaways, so it always helps to enter giveaways. So anyway, this is the bag. It's got little teacups in it. And here's my sweater. Show you where I was last week. Here's my little cheeseburger where I was last week. I haven't done a whole lot. I was kind of knitting in between customers at work yesterday. And while we were going down the road, I wasn't driving. I sit in the passenger seat and help navigate. So, and this is such a simple pattern. I can be watching the road while we're going down. I can still knit because I don't have to look at what I'm doing. So, yeah. So I've made. I guess I should show you the total progress on it. It's got a long ways to go. So it's maybe only 6 inches at this point, because it is extremely soft, but this is like a fingering weight, and I want it dense enough that I don't have to wear something underneath it. I want it to be heavy enough. I'm striping this with 2 different yarns, and this is a La Grossa, I forget what it's called. I got the ball band. Anyway, I'll put it up someplace. I've talked about this before. It's a Lana Grossa. I'm sorry, it's a Lana Grossa. But yeah, this is still the first ball. So I've got 3 more of these. And this one I might have to buy more of. This is, I have a ball band for it around here someplace too. This is called Baby Love. And it is a yarn that I got off of eBay really, really cheap. Or no, I didn't get this off of eBay. I got this at my local yarn store. But it's really cheap. It's very soft. It's bamboo and a cotton mix. So I'm striping it between the 2 of them. And I think this is my last ball of it. So I might have to buy some more of this. We'll see. We'll see how far everything goes, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to buy more of that. So that is that project. And then I have my Barton cardigan, and that's the name of the sweater. It's called the Barton cardigan. And this is the one that is knit in the round, and then you steek it. So here's where I was last week, right here. And I've knit about 2 inches, which again doesn't sound like a lot, but I've actually I spent most of my week working on my crochet afghan because I was determined to try to finish it. So, but anyway, let me hold this up, and this is what it looks like all the way around. This section right here is where the steeking will be, and steeking just means that when this is completely done, you're going to cut right up here, and I will film that when I get ready to steek this, because I've had some people ask me, is this going to unravel? No, it actually doesn't, and the reason it doesn't is because crochet goes back and forth this way. So if you cut crochet, it's going to unravel. But knitting, even though you're knitting, this direction, if it's going to unravel, it would be this way. So when you cut it, it actually won't. Now, I'm a bit of a chicken with this because I still get, even though I know it won't unravel, I worry that it will. So what I've always done when I steek it is I just sew it on my sewing machine and I cut between the seams. And that way kind of gives it a little bit more protection. And what happens is these 2, once they're cut, will just get folded back on the underside of the sweater. So that's what the steeking is. And here is what all my cabling looks like. And it is that way all the way around. And I'd hoped to finish, this has side gussets to it. And my side gussets are getting very narrow, as you can see. The gussets are between these 2 stitch markers. So I've got 7 stitches in my gusset right now. It started out at the bottom much, much wider. And you can see how it starts right here with this cable. And then see how it gets narrower and narrower. That's so that it kind of flares out at the hips, and I need lots of flaring. So it flares out at the hips. I probably should have put in like 3 or 4 gussets, but we'll hope. So then it gets narrower so that it's a little bit more fitted under the arms. So that is my Barton cardigan. Now, we are having our yarn giveaway. We talked about it last week. The yarn is Woolen Vine. And some people have asked me, because I've had a few people say they'd never heard of Woolen Vine before. Kristen Lair is the dyer behind Woolen Vine Yarns. She does have a podcast if you want to check her out. Her podcast is called Yarngasm. She lives in Brooklyn, New York, and she dyes in her basement. Dyes yarn in her basement, that is. And this is from a sock club that she did back in 2014. This is the October 2014 sock club base that she had. So, and it's called Yellow Dress. And it's on the footsie base, which is, it's a fingering sock weight. The fiber itself is 80% superwash BFL and 20% nylon, and there are 400 yards in this. So if you're hoping, all of you are hoping to win, but if you win it, it has 400 yards in it. So that way you can plan your project accordingly, or, you know, dream about what project you're going to do. This is going to run until the end of May, and I will announce the winner on the June, I think it's June 2nd. Whatever the first Saturday in June is, that's when I will announce the winner. And to enter, you must be a subscriber. It is open internationally. You must be a subscriber. Give me a thumbs up for the video. And this week's prompt is, tell me what I should do with my hair. I've got it pulled up today, as you can see back here. So I have long hair. If you watch most of my videos, I have long hair. And I like that, but I'm not sure if I want to keep it that way or not. So let me know if you think I should keep it long, go medium, or go short. So I wore it up short so you could see what it would look like. Or at least, you know, what it makes my face look like. So anyway, that is, I know that's kind of a crazy prompt for this week, but I need some advice from some people. I asked Dave, and he's like, oh, I don't know, whatever you want to do. You know, typical guy response. Sorry if there's guys watching. But anyway, he's not real helpful in telling me he likes, how he likes my hair. So give me some advice. What do you think? I can't guarantee I'll go with it, but, you know, I'm just curious what people think I should do with my hair. So that is our prompt. It's totally not yarny at all, but that's the prompt for this week for the giveaway. Now, I wanted to let you know what my next project is. It is going to be the virus shawl. Now, I don't have this in color because I printed this at work, and I didn't have a color printer because I couldn't get it to print at home right. So anyway, this is the virus shawl. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. And so it just says instructions by Connie. I'm not sure who Connie is. But anyway, that is what I'm going to do for my next crochet project. And I was actually talking with someone on Facebook. Thank you, Fran, for your help. Fran Derrick and I were chatting on Facebook, and she had made the virus shawl and posted it on Facebook, and I said, oh, that's so pretty. That's what I want to make next. You know, I already had the pattern printed out for it. She gave me some really good advice. First off, turns out there's video tutorials for this shawl. I need all the tutorials I can get, because if you're new to this channel, I'm primarily a knitter. I've crocheted for years, but all I ever crocheted was like granny squares, or, you know, straight across, back and forth. I'm not a fancy crocheter at all, so this is all brand new to me. So video tutorials are a good help for me. So anyway, it has video tutorials. She also told me that for her shawl that she made, she used 1,100 meters, which in English measurements, that's 1,203 yards, which was good. I was so glad she told me that, because the yarn I had intended to use for this shawl would have made me short, because I had yarn that would have taken me to about 850 to 900 yards, and that would have been about 300 yards too little. So anyway, thank you very much, Fran, for putting that information in. That helped a lot. If you haven't checked out our Facebook channel, our Facebook page, it is Katrina Knits, and people are posting their pictures over there. If you want to see some beautiful hand-dyed yarn, Kathy Tinkler puts some really pretty pictures up. I forget what the yarn company is, but they show like pictures of like a night sky, and then they've got pictures of a skein of yarn that pulls from those colors. And a few weeks ago they had one that was hydrangeas, and then they had the picture of the yarn that matched the hydrangea. Really, really pretty picture. So if you want to check out that, it's over on our Facebook page. It's Katrina Knits. Just request to be a friend, and I'll hit the confirm button, and then you can post your pictures and all kinds of stuff. So we're having fun over there. So that is going to be my next crochet undertaking. We'll hope. So let's see. Maybe we should get to the yarn haul. I did a little shopping this week. If you watched my video, it went up on Tuesday. I went to the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival this week. That was last Saturday. I had said I was hoping to go if the weather held out. The weather held out. It started sprinkling as I was walking back to my car. By the time I got back in my car, it was raining. It started raining fairly well. It pretty much waited until I got home before it really let down and poured. So I got to walk around about 4 hours at the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. Now, a little bit about the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. Between it and Rhinebeck, those are the two largest sheep and wool festivals in the United States. Those are the two biggest. They're also, I think, two of the oldest ones. Rhinebeck has been around for 46 years, and the Maryland Sheep and Wool has been around for 45. So it is very large. I brought actually the program. They give you this when you walk in the door with the map, because you really desperately need it. If you watched the video, let me turn this around this direction. The parking is like all up in here, way up in the field. Oh no, it's over. Where is it? Yeah, it's over here. I probably walked, I don't know, almost a quarter of a mile, because the fields were completely full of cars. I mean, thousands and thousands of people are there. The top part here had tents all out. The part down here, when you're looking at the video, you'll see me walking through some buildings. These are the buildings here, and they're huge. They're actually the sheep stalls, where they put the sheep and the cattle during the fairs, and then where the stalls are is where they put the yarn dyers, and all of the different companies and booths. So out of these 6, 4 of these barns were full of vendors. Sorry for the interruption. The telephone rang, and it was Dave, and he was on his way home, and he's bringing lunch. I never am going to turn down not having to cook. So, yeah, so he's picking up lunch. Anyway, back to what I was showing you. Okay, I was showing you that these barns along here, of the 6 barns, 4 of them have vendors on both sides. You walk down the center aisle, and there's vendors all the way down them. And then there's big barns over here. These were more food related. The cheese demonstration was like in this barn, and there was a t-shirt like where you could pick up souvenirs from the Sheep and Wool Festival. So it was that type of thing in here. And then you got down to the main barn, which you can see how huge this is. This is where the Miss Babs was. This is where the little clogging dancers were. That was down here. Little barn fibers. Trying to think what else was over there. Some of the other yarns that I bought were in this building. Some were in tents up in here. So there was tents set up all along in this section. There's also tents set up all along in this section. So as you can see, it's huge. And this main part right along here, that's the right along here is the thoroughfare. And where you saw people spinning, that was down, in these little barns here, which aren't showing up real well on them. There's two little barns right here. That's where the spinning demonstration and the sock machine were. The sock machine that wasn't working at the time because she had dropped a stitch and it didn't just go like a couple rows down. It had gone like the entire length of the sock. So it had been dropped for a while and it just kind of went all the way down. So yeah, I didn't get to see her run this. I really wanted to see a sock machine actually run. I mean, I see them on YouTube, but it'd be kind of fun up front to see one. But yeah, we were all, if you hear us laughing in the background, that's because she was like, I don't know whether to try to fix it or whether she's at this point, I'm better off to just rip it out and just start all over again. So, yeah, we were kind of laughing at the debate of what to do with this dropped stitch. So if you haven't checked out that video, that one's a fun one to look at, and you can see a lot of the yarns. So let me get to the yarn that I got. And it was kind of interesting. I was talking to another podcaster for her podcast, if you want to check it out. But anyway, she was there too. And I said, did you notice a lot of the yarns started looking the same? Was it just me, or did you notice that too? She was like, no, you're right. She noticed the same thing. So what I'll explain as I go on. This was the first purchase I made, and I absolutely love this. It is, and it's showing up pretty true to color. See if you can see this too. Yeah, that's pretty. It looks more bluish. This is kind of a, it's like a dark turquoisey teal in here. It's really, really pretty. But I mean, this isn't a color combination you would think you would see all that much. I mean, it's gorgeous. It is, it's hand-dyed superwash yarn. So it's 100%, or no, it's 80% superwash, 20% nylon. It is a 2-ply sock yarn. It's fine fingering, and it's 408 yards per skein. And this was very reasonably priced. It really was. Most hand-dyed yarn, on average, is US $26 to $28. That's just the kind of standard price for hand-dyed yarn. This was $14 a skein. So I got 2 skeins for the price of 1. So I was very happy with this, and I loved these colors together. But the funny thing is, this is hand-dyed. I went into some other booths further down the thoroughfare as the day went on. I saw this same color combination in like 2 other booths. I was like, what are the odds of someone putting, they looked like they were almost identical. So it really kind of threw me, because I didn't expect that. And this yarn comes from a company, it was a Norwegian company. It's called Yarn Hide. Yarn Hide. Let's see if I can show this to you. It's not going to focus. Anyway, it's www.yarnhygge.com. I will put that right down here so you can see it. Yeah, so I got two skeins of that. I'm thinking a shawl, maybe, or I might combine it with other yarn and turn it into something bigger. I'm not sure yet. I fell in love with these colors. I just thought that was just so pretty. And it's so fall-ish, but yeah, I just saw this and went, ooh, I really, really like that. So I bought that. Then I went, let's see if I can find the card. This company is called Reflections at Rocklands. And this is Fairfield, Pennsylvania, which is just down the road. That's 7 miles from where I live. I live just outside of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and Fairfield is up towards the mountains. If you've ever heard of Ski Liberty, which is a big ski resort, that's about 7 miles from me. So anyway, here is their card, Reflections at Rocklands, and here's the yarn that I bought. Is that a pretty green? It's kind of a foresty green. Yeah, that's about right. That's pretty true to color. It's kind of stormy outside. We had a thunderstorm earlier, so the lighting is it's a little off, but the colors are showing up pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty true to color. But I saw this and went, oh, this is so pretty. And This is called Out of the Dye Pot Yarn, and it is 100% superwash merino, and there's approximately 560 yards, and it's a fingering weight. This was $26 for a skein. So like I said, that other was a real bargain. This is an average price. 26 US dollars is about what you will pay for hand-dyed yarn. Yeah. So, and it's got some speckling in it too. So it's really pretty. It's really, really soft. So that was my second purchase. Then when I walked into the big main barn that I showed you, Lamb's Pride was there, and they had 50% off of their skeins of yarn. Needless to say, I purchased it. I think this is the company I got it. This was the company I actually bought it from. This is Lamb's Pride, but it was actually being sold at this booth, which is Heirlooms. It's from Harrisville, New York. It's Scandinavian Weave and Knit.com. But that's where I bought this yarn at. And I bought 2 skeins to go with this. I walked up to the booth and they had a couple different shades of green, and I talked to the lady there and I said, just want you to know that I'm not shoplifting. And I said, I bought this someplace else. I want to try to match it, so, you know, I didn't want you to think I'm pulling things or putting things in my bag. And she says, no, we don't sell anything like this. And so we both looked. I pulled 2 different greens, and the 2 of us looked at it together, and we both went, this one. So, yes, this is the one. Let me hold it like this. There, you can see it. See how nice that's going to look together? These were normally like $9. Yeah, there's the price. They were normally $9 a skein. And this one's being sold by, at least this skein of yarn came from Old Mill Yarn in Easton Rapids, Mississippi. Yeah, no, Michigan. It was normally $9 for a skein, and they were selling it for $4.50. So I bought 2 skeins for the price of 1. This is commercially produced yarn. This is not hand dyed. It is 85% wool, 15% mohair, which explains why it has a little bit of a halo. I don't know if you can see it or not. Well, you can't see it a whole lot, but there's a little fuzz to it. A halo just means there's a little fur fuzziness to the top. And let's see how many yards are in here. There's 190 yards per skein. So 380 yards here. And then this has a little over 500. So between all of them, close to 900. But I just thought these went well together. And I might even put I have another green that's a hand-dyed yarn that I might see how well it goes together, because it actually has, this has some little brown flecks in it right in here. You can see them. You can see them a little bit right in here. Little specklings of like a tan. The other green that I've got has the same thing, and it's a very similar color. So I might be able to mix all 4 of them together and make something like a sweater weight. So I have to pull it out and try, but we'll see. So I bought that. Then I walked past Miss Babs Yarn. Now I did not buy anything from Miss Babs Yarn. Number one, it was so crowded I couldn't even get to the skeins of yarn. But I've heard about it for years, so I wanted to at least check it out. They had a gorgeous shawl hanging on a rack that something rings. But anyway, it's a really pretty pattern. I'm not sure if I'm going to make that or not. I just saw this pattern, thought it was pretty. But they were handing out fans because it was hot. And they're like, do you want a fan? I was like, yes. Plus it says Miss Babs. So this is my souvenir. Yeah. I'm cheap. I'm not a t-shirt person, so I wasn't going to buy a t-shirt that said Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival because I'd never wear it. My husband would probably end up with it. So, yes, there's my souvenir. Or I could just consider the yarn is my souvenir, you know. So, in fact, it was funny. Somebody said, bet your feet were worn out. And I even said in the video that I was going home and putting my feet up because I've been walking on the fairgrounds on the concrete and everything for like 4 hours. And I told her, I said, I know, it's a sacrifice, but somebody's got to go buy the yarn. So, yeah, I did have a good time. So let me show you what else I got. I bought these yarns. Let me get their tag. This was, where were they from? They were, let's see if it says. It's called Grindstone Ridge Farm. And I know they told me where they lived and then they just moved, but it doesn't say on here. But anyway, they were in the course of moving. But this yarn here, I bought 2 mini skeins. They were $6 a piece, which is pretty cheap for mini skeins. They actually have their own sheep and alpaca and goats. They have blue-faced Leicester, California Red, CVM and Rommeldale sheep, Angora goats, and alpacas. Gotta love alpacas. So this yarn is a 3-ply wool alpaca blend. It is 70% wool, 30% alpaca, and there's 100 yards in each skein. So it's 200 yards together. Now here's the funny thing. Yoka sent me a pattern. Actually, she sent me 2 patterns this week. But she sent me this one pattern. She says, I ran across this, and I'm sending it to you because I just thought of, you know. She just thought, she saw it. She wanted to thank me for knitting her yarn ball buddy, which is right here. I showed this last week. Yarn ball buddy. And these skeins are going to be perfect to stick in my yarn. Once I ball them up, they're going in my yarn ball buddy. And then it's going to hang on my wrist and I can knit right like this. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. So check it out. It is called, like I said, the Yarn Ball Buddy. But anyway, I did the test knit for her, and so she said, I'll send you a pattern. I was like, you don't need to do that. I got your pattern. You sent me that, and I got a pattern out of it, and I've got something I can really use. But anyway, she sent me 2 patterns. So she sent me this first one. It's printed. You can get it in French or in English. It is called Été Chic. But look at this. Is that pretty? See, it's lacy. It's not a big shawl. It's just sort of like a scarf with a pretty lacy edge. Let's see if I can show you this picture. Here you can see it even better. Is that gorgeous or what? And here's the funny thing. It calls for 200 yards. This is what I'm going to make. So, Yoka, it was perfect. So, yeah, this pattern I'm going to make with this yarn. So this is an acquisition. That's what's going with it. She also sent me another pattern that she translated just for me. Now, I don't know if this is a pattern that she wrote or not. It's available in Dutch, but she translated it into English. But I want to show you, I'm going to cover up the pattern itself, but I want to show you what the picture is. This is a Japanese-inspired bag. And again, it's a yarn ball bag, but you sew it in sections, and then it all gathers up in the center. You can see with the drawstrings. Kind of reminds me of like a lotus flower, and maybe that's what it's supposed to be. I think Japanese, I think lotus, it's either Chinese or Japanese. Kind of reminds me of a lotus with the petals. So this would be a great one to use like with leftover scraps to make out of that. So that will be on my list. It's a great one for using up my leftovers of yarn that I really want to see used some more. So let's finish up with the yarn haul that I got. Now, I told you that I saw things in one stall and then I would see the same thing in another stall and they look like they were supposed to be together. This is yarn that I bought last fall up in Rhode Island, and let's see if I can find what it's called. Here it is. I have 2 skeins of it. I bought this in Rhode Island. It is organic cotton. It's 100% organic cotton, and the color is Irish Ocean. Great Adirondack Yarn Company. That's who sold it. Okay? There you can see part of the label. Not that's going to matter because the price tag's covering over it. But anyway, I bought this yarn, and it's tan, and it's cream, and it has kind of a bluish gray right here. A real light bluish gray. I walk into this stall, and I see this. Identical. Looked identical. The yarn twist Everything looked identical. The color looked identical. But it was being sold by Ellen Cooper Yarn Sonnets, which I had bought before. In fact, I did a giveaway last fall from my vacation yarns haul that I got, and the yarn I gave away was an Ellen Cooper yarn sonnet. So anyway, that's what I picked up the yarn, and I was like, oh, I've got the same skein of yarn at home. But I didn't think it was Ellen Cooper, and turns out it wasn't. But they looked identical. But sitting right next to it was some Ellen Cooper. This is called Waterman Silver is the color. This is 100% cotton. And look how well it goes together. It has the same gray blue that's here is kind of up in here and down in here. So I think these are going to go together very, very well. This just has more blue to it. So these three are going to go together. Here you can really kind of see kind of the grayish blues. See how well they look? They look like they were meant to be together. And the yarn twist and everything from the two different yarns, it looks like it was identical. I'm going to hold up the two twists. See? You can't tell the difference. So I don't know if they were dyed from the same type. You know, when dyers do hand dyeing, they buy the base, or basically the natural colored yarn from companies. So that's the only thing I can think happened, was maybe they bought the base. I mean, it's the same degree of twist and everything. They literally look identical, other than the colors. So I'm wondering if they used the same base, and then they each did their own dyeing. But the dyeing is so close. You know, this is what I was talking about, that it's, you know, just kind of surprising. This is what I was going to originally do the virus shawl with. However, when I looked at the yardage, there's only 319 yards in each of these skeins. And this one's only 175. So I would have been way, way short. But this is going to go together for something else. I'm not sure what. But it's going to go together for something else. So I bought that. Then, you know how much I love bargains. That sheep is pretty much plastered on my forehead. Sorry, heard something drop. Anyway, yeah. These are not going together. But these were in the bargain bin. And they were on the bargain bin at a company called Schweitzer Fiber Mill, which is actually not too far from where I live. It's probably 15, 20 miles. They actually, Schweitzer's Fiber Mill, if you have like sheep and goats and things like that, and you want them to process the fleece, they process the fleece. And they are in a place called Seven Valleys, which is, if you're looking at a map, Seven Valleys is on the way to York, Pennsylvania. It's kind of outside of York, Pennsylvania. So that's what their card looks like. And their bargain bin, they had these for $10 a piece. They don't have any labels on them. I can tell there's wool in them, but they're very soft. So I'm thinking this one's a little softer than this. So I'm thinking it's got some merino in it, probably some nylon. But they're both just tonal colors. This one's a tonal blue, and you can see it's got some lights and some darks. It's not a big drastic color change. You can see it probably the best right there. You can see a little bit of light spots. And this one has just slight. You can see a little bit of, you can see it's a little bit lighter here. But I just figured these were nice tonal base colors that I can put with other yarns. I'm not sure what I'm going to put it with yet, but I've got a lot of things in blues and browns that I can put these with, and because they're pretty solid, yeah, I can just use them to kind of fill out the colors. And that's kind of a tip too, because hand-dyed yarn can be expensive. Like I said, the average price is $26 to $28. Sometimes I'm not going to make an entire sweater out of hand-dyed yarn. I would spend over $100 or more. And then, you know, there's no way I'm going to spend that much. But what you can do is buy one color of a hand-dyed yarn and then supplement the rest of the garment or project with a cheaper yarn it's just not hand dyed. It doesn't need to be a cheaper quality of yarn, but it's just not hand dyed. So you're still using maybe wool or merino, you know, because you want to match like with like. You don't want to put an acrylic with, you know, something that's got wool in it or whatever, because when you wash it, it's not going to work out well. So you want to make sure you have like fibers with like fibers, but you can make a sweater or something just using maybe 1 or 2 skeins of an expensive hand-dyed yarn, and then get a less expensive but the same fiber content yarn that's maybe commercially produced. So for a much more decent price. So that's kind of what I do a lot of times, is I will kind of mix and match as long as the fibers are the same. So I can still wear something that's hand-dyed and unique without spending a small fortune to do it. So got that. That's all I bought at the Sheep and Wool Festival. Now I'll show you what came in with Knitcrate. And I do have a video up of me unboxing it. But if you don't want to watch that and you just want to see what I got, I'll put it up really quick. This is Librevis. This came in the membership box. I got 2 skeins of it. This is super, super soft. It's called Gray Twist. It's a marled sock yarn. It's 40% merino wool, 40% Peruvian Highland wool, and 20% nylon. It's a fine-grain weight, and there's 437 yards per skein. So, and all this is a dark charcoal. It's actually not even dyed. This is natural colors and from 2 different types of sheep, and they've just blended them together with some nylon, is the impression I've got out of it. But it looks brown, but it's actually kind of a brownish charcoal color. And a white, and it's just a twist. And I like this because it's just plain. It's just neutral. It did kind of surprise me in that when I looked at this, one of my YouTube subscribers, Family Clan, and I were chatting about this one. And she said she liked it, but she was kind of surprised, since it was spring related, that it didn't have more color in it than browns and whites, which to me this kind of screams winter, not spring. You know, I was kind of surprised too, but I do like the colors. I like neutrals once in a while. You know, the fancier hand-dyed colors are great and they're really pretty, but sometimes you just want something that's going to go with anything that could be like an everyday throw around your shoulders type of shawl. And I think that's what this is going to be. This came with a pattern. The membership box always includes 2 patterns. It has a crochet pattern, it has a knitting pattern. The crochet pattern is for a clutch. I'm not going to do this. I do like this, but I've knitted pocketbooks before and they tend to be floppy. I like more structured pocketbooks, and I carry tons of junk with me. I tend to use a tote bag. This is no way is it going to carry everything I carry. So I won't be making that, but this is the crochet, or this is the knit pattern. I want to look at this. I'm not sure if I'm going to make this or not, because it doesn't show the whole thing in the picture. I can see, looking at it, that there is some texture to it over in here, but I want to pull up the pattern first and see, because like I said, it doesn't show the whole thing there. So I'd like to look at it a little bit more. But I think it's just going to be something that I could just kind of throw around my shoulders for every day. That's what I'm going to make out of it. So that was the membership box. And then I got, this came in the free box that they're sending me for these 3 months. This is the 2nd month. Knitcrate reached out to me and offered me 3 months of a free subscription box that I could open and review, and it wasn't going to cost me anything, so I said yes please. And so this is the part of one of the sock crates, and this dyer, this is a hand dyed, the sock crate is done by, it's a hand dyed yarn. They have 2 different sock crates. One is an artisanal sock crate, which means it's a hand dyer. The other one is like the membership box. It is hand dyed, but it's dyed on yarn that is from in-house within Knitcrate. So this is what this yarn looks like. And that is pretty true to color. It's purples and blues. Yes, Kathy, did you hear that? Purples and blues. Yes. Kathy Tinkler and I both like our purples. So anytime she puts a picture up on Facebook with purple, I'm like, ooh, it's purple. So yes, it's purple and teals. So yes, this is like right up my color alley. And this is 75% Corriedale, 25% nylon, and there's 434 yards in it. So there it is. If you're interested in Knitcrate, they are offering a special for this month and next month. There's a link down below through Knitcrate. You have to use that link and use the coupon code KCreations20, and it will give you 20% off of your first subscription box. So not on every month subscription, but your very first one that if you want to try it out, it gives you 20% off the box. And there's 4 different boxes to choose from. So if you check the link out down below, it'll take you to their site and you can see what the different boxes are and check it out. And if you're interested, it gives you 20% off, which is how I got started, is I ordered it watching another YouTuber, and I've been getting it ever since because I really enjoy it. So the last couple things we got going on, I do have a couple of pictures for show and tell that are from Bev. She showed these before, but she's now finished the C2C quilt, crocheted Afghan. So I'm going to insert that, and she also has a couple pictures of the quilts that she's been working on, and she's now hooking some of them together, so she's got some pictures of that in there as well. Now, our deals of the week, because I am an affiliate for Craftsy and for Knit Picks and for Lion brand yarn, which is Orchard yarn. If you look in the links down below, all the links to these are down below in my description box. If you scroll down and hit the show more, it'll drop down and you can see links to my Ravelry patterns, to the Facebook page, to my Pinterest page, and to all of the affiliate links. So Craftsy is running for this month only. They are running a free 7-day trial on their Craftsy Unlimited, which are crafts on all different things, from quilting to sewing to cooking to all kinds of stuff. They are running a free trial, and they are also running, if I remember correctly, is it a discount? I don't remember. If you click the link down below, but they do offer a 7-day free trial of the Craftsy Unlimited. So if you check that out down below. And then Knit Picks is running the same deal that they had running last week. They are running 20% off of their gloss yarn, 20% off of the needle tips that go to your interchangeable circular needles, and up to 25% off of their yarn value packs, which are like gradient yarn groups they put together. Lion brand yarn is having a sale on their mandala yarns, especially the baby mandala, which are more like pastel type of colors. But they're running a sale on those. So like I said, all the links are down below. And then our final thing for the week, we have a knit along that has been running for the Katrina's Kerchief cowl that I designed. That knit along ends on May 12th. So I will be closing the thread on May 12th and later in the evening, and then so that will be this Saturday is when it closes. So next Saturday I will be showing you pictures of all the finished projects and letting you know who the winner of the knit along was, because I will be drawing a winner out of the finished threads, and the winner is going to receive Uluru Queensland yarn, a skein, and it's fuzzy, it's got mohair in it. So this is going to the winner, and that will be drawn, and I will be announcing that next Saturday. The winners will be told before that, because I'll just contact them through Ravelry, but you guys will find out who the winner was. So other than that, that is it for this week. Again, don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below on the hair, which this is funny. Look, it matches. Yes, gray with gray. I noticed that earlier today. Anyway, here in the U.S., it is Mother's Day on Sunday. So if you are a mother, whether you live in the U.S. or wherever you live, have a wonderful Mother's Day. And I will talk to you again next Saturday. Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.